Hello, everybody. Thank you guys so much for joining. We are just getting loaded in. I can see people slowly kind of logging into the system. We'll get some introductions and everything started, maybe about minute, 30 seconds, just to make sure that everybody can get into the system. Everybody can hear the audio. I'm actually going to make some comments here because if you can't hear audio, you just need to hit a play button, which if you can't hear audio, you can't hear me say that either. Let's see. Ensure you click. Super excited to have a really exciting host. One of the benefits about being part of the soul.com network that we've talked about a lot is we like to invest in you guys and really put back into how to help you guys be successful, not only with soul.com, but just generally in your business. And so with that, we have in my opinion, one of the best marketing gurus that you can really learn from as you're starting to explore the options of how to make my leads convert better, right? That's the biggest thing is we as agents, you guys spend a ton of money investing in yourselves, and marketing is a big key component to how to grow your business, especially when the market is kind of shaky. You're trying to figure out every single opportunity that you can. But a lot of you guys have spun your wheels on things, right? You haven't seen success right off the bat. And so Jason's going to really talk about what you guys can do to be successful. So without further ado, many of you guys know him, and that's why we had such a high registration to actually being here. We have one of Tom Ferry's top real estate coaches, public speaker, like I said, marketing extraordinaire with us today, talking about everything that you guys can do with lead nurturing, email campaigns, and everything else under the sun. So please help me welcome Jason Pantana to our webinar today.
Thank you so much, Deanna, for having me. It's a blast to be with everybody today. We've got about 60 minutes, 59 minutes. I'm committed to having you out of here on time, and I'm also committed to getting through as much content as possible. I did see in the chat, is there a replay? Yes, this is being recorded. I talk really fast. We're going to go through a lot of content today. And I am expecting that you'll have the ability to watch this again and go back and dig into some of the details that come associated with each of the different strategies. Also, I'm going to give you a link to my slides at the very end. My slides have a lot of links where you can click on elements and it will take you to an online resource like a video with a step-by-step tutorial or anything along those lines. This webinar is designed to give you the tactics to have better conversion on your leads over time. We've called this session Supercharged Lead Nurturing, and you'll see exactly why as we dive into the content. So I'm going to throw my slides up on the screens. You should be seeing Supercharged Lead Nurturing up on the screen. In fact, let me go back and just give me a little confirmation in the chat that you can see the slides, okay? I'm going to take them off right now, but I want to make sure that you saw them. So tell me in the chat, did you see the slides? I think it puts the new comments at the top. Somebody give me some feedback in the chat. I'm just seeing hellos. Hello to everybody else too. It's good.
And I'll monitor that for you too, Jason. So if
Were you able to see it okay, Deanna?
Yeah, I can saw it. I saw it perfect. Looks like everybody's giving you confirmation that they can see it.
Beautiful. All right, then we're going to dive straight into Supercharged Lead Nurturing. Again, my name is Jason Pantana. I am delighted to be with you today. I'd love to connect and be a resource for you. In the event you have questions or want to dive deeper into more marketing content, these are links to my social media, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. Wherever you have a presence, I try to be there also, and always committed to delivering as much marketing value for your business as possible. Now, this was already talked about, but the relationship that Soul.com has with Tom Ferry is one that we're proud of as well. I've been a business coach with Tom Ferry for about 7 years now. And Tom and company, we've been ranked the #1 coaching program for 10 years in a row, which is something we're super proud of because the success of our coaching members is how we measure our own success. We would hardly be the #1 coaching program with roughly 10,000 coaching members if it wasn't for the success of our clients actually learning from their coaches, implementing, doing, and getting the results in their business. And the reason I bring this up is because as I go through examples, case studies, what works for others, what can you rip off and duplicate? We call that R&D. Everything in this presentation is coming out of our ecosystem of coaching members, and it's designed for you to say, I could do that. Oh, that makes sense. Let me do it just like she did or just like he did. Everything here is a buffet for you to rip off and duplicate. So let's dive in and have a good little kickoff to what does it mean to generate leads. I have a fun conversation I'll bring up when I'm coaching teams often. And I ask the question, what's a lead? And then I'll kick my feet up on the desk, proverbially speaking, like this, and I'll just wait for the wild range of answers of how do agents in this business define a lead. And so sometimes I'll hear, oh, a lead is somebody who's committed to buy tomorrow. They're all cash. Their parents aren't involved in the inspection, and it's going to go swimmingly. We sometimes in this business have utopian definitions of what a lead is. But the reality is a lead is simply a hand raiser. You made an offer. They responded to the offer. It was some type of a real estate offer. So by responding and taking the offer, they revealed some measure of intent. I don't believe there's such a thing as poor quality leads. I believe there is such a thing as high intent, not so much intent, and leads grow to maturity over time. So today's conversation is a marketing conversation about how do you leverage your marketing mix to convert leads over time, because as the moment you get the lead to the moment the lead transacts, the window in between is where you can instill the desire that they will work with you and not somebody else. Because guess what? You are not the only agent in your marketplace. You're likely not the only agent that lead knows, and they might look for recommendations unless you can win them over from friend zone to end zone, professionally speaking. Because here's reality. We know that 73% of leads aren't ready when they're generated. Now, this is not a real estate specific statistic. This is a all businesses, all sales, all industries generalized statistic. But we all know it's inherently true when it comes to real estate. 73% of leads aren't ready when they're generated. Shocker. You mean when somebody did a home valuation or took whatever call to action there was, they weren't ready in that precise moment. That's the truth. There is always an incubation period. And in the incubation period lies your opportunity. Because think about it like this. If leads were ready to transact the moment they were generated, you'd miss out almost every time. You would rarely win the opportunity. And here's why. If you look at data from the National Association of Realtors, let me get my face out of the way here so you can see this slide. If you look at data from the National Association of Realtors every year, they do an analysis of how do buyers and sellers find an agent with whom they choose to work, whether buying or selling. And look at the columns. So 2017, 54% of buyers, 64% of sellers found an agent by way of repeat or referral business. Then it goes to 53, 63, 53, 66, 53, 67, 60, 68%. It's even stronger, like roughly 2/3 of all sellers work with an agent by way of repeat referral business. So here's the point. If leads were ready the moment they were generated, they would end up working with an agent they already know, like, and trust. This is a relationship business. This is a know you, like you, trust you business. You are either the agent of choice or you're an agent of chance, and the odds don't favor the agent of chance. So the question is, how will you use your time? How will you use your time from the moment you get a lead to the moment they ultimately transact? Because most agents, here's the mistake I keep seeing. And I recognize there are different types of leads based upon the offers they respond to. We're going to talk about that. Some leads are what we would call top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel. I'm sure you're familiar with basic sales funnels, the upside down triangle that personifies the intent of the lead maturing as time goes on. I recognize some lead sources produce bottom of funnel leads, middle of funnel, top of funnel, but most agents will aggressively is the wrong word. Most agents will work a lead with relative effort in the beginning. And then if the lead isn't ready to buy really, really quickly, they sort of abandon it as a bad job and move on to the next one, looking for that, sort of cream of the crop, low hanging fruit types of leads. But the reality is, what would happen if you had a marketing machine that was designed to work the leads over time? Because as time passes on, the intent of the lead matures. They will either decide they're going to transact or they're not going to transact whatsoever. And so it's in your best interest to create a system whereby you can market and nurture your leads over time. And I'm not just talking about sold.com leads. I'm talking about open house leads. I'm talking about inbound organic leads off social media. I'm talking about leads you may buy from other third-party portals. I'm talking about leads, period. We know that roughly all leads aren't ready to transact the moment you get them. And I want to go back to this relationship business, this trust-based business that is real estate. We know real estate's know, like, trust. I'll talk more about it in a little bit. And trust is a special word because I'm talking about professional trust, not personal trust. There's such a thing as personal trust where, oh, I trust you to walk my dog this weekend. Could you do that for me? Great. That's a far cry from I trust you to help me list and sell my property for the best possible terms and to represent my interests. There's a big cry between that. So what are you doing in your marketing to instill upon prospective sellers that they may have thought they just wanted to sell their house, but now they realize what they really need in order to do that is you. Therein lies your opportunity to market your face off and position yourself as the agent of choice so that when they are ready, they're all coming to you. Now, let's talk about different types of offers. So a lead, we said a moment ago, is just a hand raiser. It's simply somebody who saw an offer somewhere and responded to it. And there are certain components that can tell you if the lead is a stronger lead or not so ready kind of lead. We're not going to get into all those details, but think about it for a moment logically, if you would, please. If you make an offer that's super, super to the point, hey, schedule a showing on this house today, and they do it, that's a high intent action to take. But if you have a sort of like, hey, click here for more details, and they go to a website to look at a property, and then it forces a registration, that doesn't tell you a lot about the intent of the lead because the action they took wasn't that strong. So hopefully I'm going to keep recircling this. If this is sort of going over your head, we're going to keep getting into it. The point I'm making is based upon the offer made will tell you a lot about the lead. So you can meet them where they are and put them into the right type of nurture plan so they ultimately convert over time. Now, let's talk about the two types of offers in real estate. In real estate, when you're making a lead generating offer, whereby somebody can raise their hand and say, I'll take that. There are only two offers, and they tell you an awful lot. It is either an offer about a property. So for instance, what's my home worth? Or it could be, if it was some other website, perhaps, it could be search for homes here. This could be an open house. Come to the open house. It's about the property. The lead is responding to a real estate offer that's about the property, about getting a valuation, about searching for homes. It's about the property. But the other option is the professional. So if somebody goes to Google and they do a Google search like best realtor near me, and they see a bunch of Google business profiles, and then they start reading reviews and they decide, oh, this agent has glorious reviews. That lead, when they reach out to you, inquired about you as the professional. So the difference is what's on the silver platter. Is it you on the platter or is it the property on the platter? Now, there are pros and cons. When it comes to the property offers, you can get a lot more leads. I'm going to say it again. You can get way more leads who are inquiring about properties than you can about professionals, but these ones are flipping great when you do get them. Now, here's something interesting, and Deanna, you can jump in if you want to on this. Something interesting is when you look at sold.com, they're actually gathering leads with both types of offers. So I don't know how much you all know about sold.com. I was learning about it myself, and it's fascinating. So you can get leads whereby they might be scanning the website, reading reviews, looking for who's the best prospective listing agent, and then inquiring about one of you based upon the reviews they read. Now that is based upon the professional. The lead generating offer is based upon the professional. The other is property inquiries whereby they're getting a home valuation or they click on a cash offer type of program, and it's an inquiry about actually getting their home sold. It's about the property. Deanna, do you have any comment before I move on?
No, you're right on. Yeah, the home valuation, and then they, like you said, the professional one where they can click directly on that agent.
Yes. So from a nurturing standpoint, to everybody listening and watching right now, that means recognizing, well, what kind of lead did I get? How can I meet this lead where they are, understanding what got them to this point? Because, I mean, think about taking a trip someplace. If you want to get to some specific destination, the first thing you need to know, other than where you want to get, is where you are now. That's simple, obvious logic. And when it comes to nurturing, it's the same thing. If you don't understand how you got the lead, then you're not going to have a very easy time converting the lead. When I work with the teams I coach, whether they're buying leads from some third-party portal or wherever, this is one of the deep dives that we'll get into is, hey, walk me up through how did the lead get to you? Where are they at? I mean, there are some third-party aggregators where by the time they warm transfer the lead to you, the lead's been dialed all around the world through a phone tree, and they've been talking to people for 20 minutes before they even get you. Like understanding the path by which a lead comes to you and what it is they inquired about is everything in terms of starting off right with your nurture plan. So I want you to remember, as we keep moving, there's two types of offers in real estate. It's either about the property or it's about the professional. Both work as long as you work according to what they're looking to accomplish. Let's keep moving. I'm going to give you one more framework, and then we're going to get into the actual tactics of how we nurture and so forth. I call this the 3 phases of conversion. Now, nurture, nudge. It's got alliteration so that it's easy to remember. Now, nurture, nudge. Now, that means immediate communications. So when you get a lead, wherever the lead comes from, again, it could be an open house. It could be a referral from a past client. It could be any lead you get anywhere. It could be a home light lead coming to you. I don't care. Any lead you get. What is your immediate plan to qualify and convert that lead now? And remember, you got to meet them where they are. Was it a property inquiry? Was it a professional inquiry? What was their level of intent? You have to attempt to convert them immediately or they're gone. Nurture, ongoing communications to build trust and rapport and top of mind awareness. This is what we're going to focus on today. It's all about marketing because reality is most of the leads you get from any lead source are not ready now. I repeat, most of the leads you get from any lead source are not ready now. That doesn't mean they're bad quality leads. Quality is not even the discussion point. It's not about quality as much as it's about intent. Do you understand their intent? Are you in alignment with their intent and plotting them on a chart to get them where they need to go? Because in between, I wonder if you remember the poem. This is going to sound morbid. There's a poem. It's famous. It's called The Dash. And it's a poem about how one day you're born and one day, ultimately, you'll die. And on your gravestone is the dash, the little hyphen. It's called an epitaph. And it represents how you lived. And in a less morbid sense, one day a lead is originated. And one day that lead will likely transact. And in between is the epitaph. It's everything you do to make them realize, wow, it's not about getting a home valuation. That's great. What I really need is Jane. What I really need is John. What I really need is this agent who's been so relentless in staying in touch with me and offering me value that I recognize I know them, I like them, I trust them, I choose them. A failure to leverage that epitaph in your lead nurturing means the consumer is going to work with an agent they already know, like, and trust. It's going to be repeat referral. That's what the statistics tell us. And in fact, think back to that data I showed you a moment ago. In fact, I can probably pull it up on the screen for us once more. We'll jump around a little bit. Kaboom, there it is. Repeat referral business, buyers and sellers. I wonder, and I challenge you rhetorically, do you think these numbers have increased or decreased since we've started seeing platforms like Zillow and Realtor.com and Redfin and so forth? Do you think these numbers have gone up or gone down? And I would wonder if you would jump to the same conclusion as me and think, well, we know the consumer begins their journey online. That's just, we know it. And because information is at their fingertips and they can do so much self-service, surely they rely less upon repeat referral business than before because they can find agents and find what they need on their own. They're so much more independent now. But the reality is that's wrong. If you look at this data back in the 2000s and before, it was significantly lower. Significantly fewer buyers and sellers chose to work with an agent by way of repeat or referral business than they do today. Why is that? Well, there's a book that I believe explains it called The Paradox of Choice. And the paradox of choice is best illustrated if you imagine yourself going to a grocery store and you're looking for some olive oil and you walk down the aisle thinking, oh, this will be easy. I'm going to grab a can of olive oil. And then you realize there are 634 types of olive oil. And you're like, how am I supposed to make a decision when I don't have there's so much information that it beckons more information to make an informed choice. What I need is somebody who works here to help me figure out which kind of olive oil I need because I don't have the bandwidth. I can see what I don't know and I need a guide to help me make the decision. And in real estate, it's the same. It's the same because there is so much information available to consumers online because they can do so much. They recognize what they don't know more readily than they did before. And so the reality is know, like, trust is only further cemented since the web and the internet and all these disruptive technologies that we fear have in fact drove consumers into the arms of agents because real estate is and will always be a relationship business. It will always be a know you, like you, trust you business. So What's your game plan for 3 phases of conversion? Now, nurture, and then nudge. The last one is every so often go back and try again. Call, text, email, try to get in touch. This is what makes leads convert over time. Most agents only do this now, and then they abandon the lead as a bad job. They forget the nurture, they forget the nudge. I think these are pretty self-evident. I'm trusting they are for you. We're going to talk today about nurture. What I want you to imagine is one nurture plan to rule them all. And in no, we won't finish it. If you've seen Lord of the Rings, this is a play on Lord of the Rings. I want you to imagine for a moment, one nurture plan. It's marketing based. It's multi-channel. I'll talk about that in a moment, whereby all your leads and contacts are dumped into a revolving door universal marketing plan. It's always spinning, always turning. One nurture plan for every kind of lead you've got. Top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel, even past clients and sphere of influence contacts, everybody inside of one single multi-channel, massive, ever-evolving nurture plan. So many agents struggle with the idea of nurturing because like, oh, I got to create a drip sequence of emails for this kind of lead and that kind of lead and this kind of lead and that kind of person. I have to imagine every foreseeable circumstance. And I'm like, no, you don't. Now nurture nudge. Nurture is one to many, you curating what matters in your marketplace to all consumers. That's what we're talking about today is one nurture plan to rule them all. Now, let me say this, because I already framed out for you now nurture nudge, and I've already told you we're not talking about now or nudge. Don't interpret what I'm about to show you as me giving you a hall pass in terms of making your calls. You have to call, text, email, and attempt to one-to-one reach out and convert your leads. What we're getting into today is the supplement to that to position your agent brand as the ultimate choice with whom they want to work. Agent of choice versus agent of chance, so that when the lead matures and they're ready to transact, it's you, it's you, it's you, it's you. All right, let's keep moving on. And I'm going to, one more thing. Let's talk about multi-channel marketing magic. The plan we're going to get into is going to have 3 layers to it. We're talking about multi-channel marketing magic. There is a principle in human psychology that's called the frequency illusion. I'll say it again. It's called the frequency illusion. And it explains a lot about why marketing works the way that it works. Imagine this. You're driving home one day from work, and as you get off the interstate onto the secondary that's nearest your neighborhood, you see a billboard of a real estate agent. You see it every day on the way home from work. And then you drive into your neighborhood and you check the mail on the way down the driveway, and you grab a postcard from that same agent. And you're like, I just saw their billboard. And then you pull into the driveway, and before you hop out of your phone, I don't know, you check your email real quick, and there's an email from that same agent. Now, my scenario has all of those events happening simultaneously. So imagine I saw the billboard one day, didn't think about it. Postcard might have been a week or 2 later, and the email might have been a week or 2 later from that. They don't have to be at the same time. They can be spread out. But what the frequency illusion tells us is that because a consumer is being exposed to your marketing communications across a variety of channels, it creates an illusion that the consumer is seeing and hearing from you more frequently than is actually the case. So another way to look at this is, wow, I got to be multi-channel, because if I only choose one channel, I'm making this up, if I just did postcards, for instance, postcards on their own are less valuable than maybe fewer postcards layered with some other marketing channel, because they see me everywhere. I want to create the effect of I see you everywhere, and it creates top of mind awareness. It creates consideration. It creates the opportunity for you to actually nudge and reach out and convert that lead and book more appointments. So we're talking about multi-channel marketing because, candidly, only having one marketing channel makes that marketing channel more expensive than it needs to be, because you actually drive the cost per result down because it's more effective when they're working together. Picture 4 strands of rope. Okay, that was probably over your head. It's all right. We're doing a multi-channel marketing plan. Let's talk about what it looks like. Multi-channel marketing magic. I got 3 columns here. Channel, frequency, strategy. Channel is the communication channel we're using to communicate with our leads. Candidly, this is a one nurture plan for all your leads and contacts. So it's also contacts like sphere of influence, like past clients. It's everybody. But we're talking about leads in this context today. Frequency is how often are you doing it? pretty pure and simple. And the last one is strategy. It's just a quick description of what we're going to get into. So the first one is content and video. Specifically, the specific kind of content I'm after is video on an ongoing basis. And the strategy is we're going to be producing and promoting your content. Producing and promoting your content. Now, I have a saying that I use pretty often. Marketing without content is like a bow without arrows. If you're doing marketing and it's just static ads and it's not a message and you're not curating what matters for the consumer in the context of selling a property or buying a property, then you're not really marketing. And in 2023, if you're not marketing with content, you're not really marketing. And I would even go so far as to say, if your content isn't video first, you're costing yourself, because video works highly effectively. It's not really a sentence, but I think you track with me. Marketing without content is like a bow without arrows. Picture a bow without arrows. Really doesn't do a lot for you. Picture a bow with arrows. Well, now I can hook the arrow or nook the arrow, and I can take aim and I can set it to specific targets, so long as it's a good arrow. Marketing without content is like a bow without arrow. And the kind of content we're talking about today first is video. Because when you think about real estate being a know you, like you, trust you business, it's a relationship business. There is no marketing medium, there is no communication channel that's as effective as video is in terms of instilling these basic ideas: know, like, trust. And again, we already talked about it. There's a difference between personal trust and professional trust. Are you positioning your agent brand whereby the consumer can latch hold of your thought leadership and begin to trust you? Know, like, trust. And another side note of the know, like, trust, there are likely many agents who the consumer could potentially hire who are trustworthy to get the job done. You are not the only agent in your marketplace who could effectively sell a property. So between the know, like, trust trifecta, the one that really, like, they're all required. You have to have all three. But the one that gets you, on the podium, not just in the game, is like. People want to do business with agents they like. Okay, well, what does it mean to be liked? There's a book called Influence, The Psychology of Persuasion. It's a great read. It's written by a psychologist, go figure. And it breaks down 6 laws of compliance. What makes people buy, or what makes people take action from a sales standpoint? It's a great read. And in this book, the author describes what it means to like somebody. And he makes the point that, we tend to, in sales, often trivialize what it means to like somebody. We go to a listing appointment, we see a picture of them fishing on the wall, and we're like, oh, if I pretend I like fishing because they like fishing, A plus B equals C, they're going to like me. No, that's not the way that it works. That's shallow and superficial. What this book teaches is that somebody likes you when they sense you have their best interest at heart. So if you make it your underlying prerogative to just add value, to help people make better choices when it comes to selling their properties, when to sell their properties, how to buy and sell at the same time. If you deliver value and value and value, the natural human reaction of somebody who is in market planning to sell or considering selling is to begin to like you, because they sense that you have what they want and what they need at heart. Therefore, they like you. Real estate is a know you, like you, trust you business, always has been, always will be. And video is the ultimate channel to facilitate the bringing about of know, like, and trust. Now, today we're going to talk about 3 types of videos very briefly, and then I got a few more matters I want to get to, and I got to do it in about 17 minutes. So we're going to get on with it. 3 kinds of videos. The first one we call talking head videos. You'll notice these are all vertical videos. Vertical videos are the trend: Instagram Reels, TikTok, and so forth. So we're talking about how do you produce and then promote content. First thing you have to do is make content. Your marketing is hollow. It's missing in action if you don't have content. We have nothing to send out if we don't have content. Marketing without it is a bow without arrows. And the first one is talking head videos, whereby it's you looking at the camera and you're demonstrating tips, advice, market news, information a consumer might need to make informed choices. It's just you talking about your competence and demonstrating your competence for free, giving value, giving advice all day, every day. Now, question that I want you to wrestle with rhetorically, because I can't actually see the chat right now. The question is, what do you sell? Maybe another way to rephrase this question would be, what is it a seller is purchasing from you when they hire you? It's kind of a funny way to ask it, but that's what we're getting at. What do you sell? A lot of agents would give an answer and say, well, I sell real estate. Not quite. You help people who own real estate sell real estate, but that's not ultimately it's their real estate, not yours. And I'm splitting hairs on this. Some might say, well, I sell myself, to which I would argue and say, that's pretty vague. It's pretty vague. I mean, and it's not even okay in some context. What do you sell? The best answer, if you look at it through the lens of, well, why is somebody hiring you? Well, they're hiring you because they know you, like you, trust you, personal, professional trust. They're hiring you. And this is what I want you to catch on the basis of your real estate expertise and the way you convey that expertise. You might convey it in a way that's super numbers driven or personable and charismatic and funny. Your personality certainly plays into this, but end of day, people are hiring you based upon your expertise. It's your agent brand, your voice, your mind, your heart, your face. It's you. And there's no marketing medium like video. So think about it like this. If you make talking head videos and post one a day on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, or whatever platform, and it's just giving free advice about real estate all day, every day, nobody's going to call you salesy. They're just going to call you. But the thing that's fascinating to me is actually every single one of those videos, every one of them is selling your services every time, but there's no sales pitch because what you really sell is expertise. A lot of agents are accused of being overly salesy. And I would argue it's because a lot of agents don't actually know what they sell. What you sell is your thought leadership, your expertise. You are the guide to helping somebody complete the transaction, and you can leverage video powerfully to show up every day that way. All right, let's keep moving on. Number two, second video you can make is local spotlights. I'm not going to get too deeply into how often should you make these videos. You may choose once a week, once a day. It's really your prerogative. Some is better than none, and done is better than perfect. Local spotlights whereby you highlight your town. So these may be videos of maybe you interviewing a local business owner or taking a video tour of the new walking trails in the community. It's something where you celebrate and herald your love and your affection for your community, and you position yourself as the person who knows everything in this community like the back of your hand. Now, there's another reason for doing these videos, and this is going to be a little bit of a sidebar, so stay with me. We're going to go through this together. It's a quick sidebar. Social media, when you think about Facebook and Instagram and other platforms, social media is becoming, whoops, I went off screen there for a second. Sorry, I hit a wrong button. You can see me now. Social media is becoming less and less social and less local. It's becoming much more like TikTok, whereby it's just folks seeing your videos from here, there, and everywhere. So part of the reason for us doing these local spotlight videos where you highlight your town and the amenity of your towns is because it will train the algorithm to start showing your content to other locals. This, again, is a deep dive technically. Last year, Zuckerberg said that on Facebook and Instagram, 15% of everything we saw in our feeds already at the end of last year was AI suggested content, meaning it wasn't posts from friends or from the groups you're a member of. It wasn't even paid ads. It was just interest-based, Facebook showing you funny, entertaining videos because they want to compete with TikTok. By the end of this year, they said they're going to be up to 30%, meaning almost a third of the feed will be clogged with content in the feeds of the people who follow you, ideally your leads, your contacts, with other people's posts that are nowhere near you. And so the reason we're making local content, and this is a big thought, it's a big thought. The reason for making local content is because you're effectively telling Facebook and Instagram's algorithm, hey, I make content for people who live here. And it forces it to show it to a geographically interested audience. You don't need thousands and thousands of followers. You need to have local saturation, and you need to be relevant to your leads and contacts. One of my clients, Ken Pozak, he's crushing it. On our last coaching call, he said he had 109 properties currently in escrow. 109 in escrow now. They are absolutely crushing it on their conversion, and it's all video based. It's video based. He makes long form podcasts on YouTube. They chop them up into little clips and post those clips of just giving advice, demonstrating expertise again and again and again on Facebook and Instagram. And he said, hyperlocal like crazy. I'm getting more love than most of the curated content of other agents' posts. Check the views. And what he's saying is the more locally relevant he gets, the better his content performs. Think about that for a little bit. All right, now let's get back on with it. Third type of video to make is property tours. There's something magic about you showing homes. You plus listings. Maybe they're your listings. Maybe they're not your listings. If they're not your listings, go get the right consent to make videos of other agents' listings, as long as they give you the right consent that you're required to have in your local marketplace. But there's something about you showing properties. It's you in action doing the thing people assume you do, showing and selling properties. And the reality is when you look at your content at a high level, you get what your content attracts. If you make content designed for buyers, guess what? You're going to get buyers. If you make content designed for sellers, guess what? You're going to get sellers. If you make content about hobbies and passion projects, that's good. It's fine, except that's what you're going to attract others with like interest, because social media is becoming less and less social, less and less local. So I would advise somewhat of a linear perspective. You get what your content attracts. That doesn't mean you can't be knowable, likable, trustable. It's not even a word, but I think you're getting what I'm saying here. You still inject your personality into what you're doing. But hey, if you're going to leverage social media, you might as well leverage it for business. Now, if you want to go deeper on social media, there's a lot we didn't talk about today. I have a course that I developed. It's about 3.5 hours of pre-recorded video content with training and tutorials and step-by-step instruction. And it's all about video and social media. It talks about all these topics and more on the screen. It's once you get it, it's yours forever. And there is a discount code here. So if you get the slides, you can either scan that code or you can click that code when you get my slides and input that little code right there and save an additional 10% off the purchase. This is all part of the Marketing Pro courses. There are multiple courses in Marketing Pro. The course I'm speaking of here is called Cracking the Social Code, but you can get this discount applies to all the courses. Now, we just talked about how do you create content, and the next layer to this is how do you promote that content? I'm talking about retargeting, because here's reality. Even if you post it on social media, it doesn't mean your leads are going to see it. It doesn't mean they're connected with you on Facebook or Instagram. So you have to have a paid strategy for this. Did you know that platforms like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and LinkedIn all have advertising portals in which you as an advertiser can upload a spreadsheet of all your contacts? So that means you can effectively export all your sold.com leads to a CSV file. It's a spreadsheet, like an Excel spreadsheet, and you can upload it into the ad platforms of Facebook and Instagram, which is together combined called Meta, TikTok, LinkedIn. They all allow you to do this. So that that would mean is, as you're making these posts, your local spotlights, your talking head videos, as you're making your property tours, you have the ability to then put money behind those posts to ensure that all your leads are seeing your content on a regular basis. They see you everywhere, and your content is demonstrating expertise and it's winning them over time. Now, when it comes to Meta, I call these Meta multiplier ads. We're not going to go into detail on these today, but this is a strategy. When you get my slides, all you have to do is click right here. This is hyperlinked, and it will take you to a 25-minute video that it's free. There's no paywall. It's just yours. And it will walk you through step-by-step how to run these ads. And in a nutshell, here's what they are. Imagine you did a video on Facebook every day for a month. So let's say at the end of the month, you've got 30 videos. Well, what you can do is go into Meta, create one campaign, whereby that one campaign that's retargeting all your leads from sold.com. You upload the spreadsheet. It's retargeting all of them. I can assign to that campaign all 30 of my past 30 days of videos. It's called using existing content. Rather than making an ad, I'm just going to say, use what I've already posted. And I feed 30 videos to one campaign. I let it run for a month. And this thing is just throwing one video after the next in front of your leads, whereby they see you all the time. You don't have to make it so that they like your page or decide to follow you on Instagram in order to be able to retarget them and be able to influence them over time as their intent grows with their decision to want to sell a property. So if you want to learn that, all you got to do is click right here. And I got to tell you, marketing without content is a bow without arrows. First, you have to make the content. And then when you have the content, you can pay to promote it to make sure your folks who need to see it in order to be informed see it. Because picture like this. If a tree falls in the forest and nobody's around to watch it fall, did it make a sound? And the answer is, well, nobody was there. So we don't really know if it made a sound or not. In the same way, If you post videos on Facebook and Instagram that your leads don't see, they do nothing for you. They're useless, which is exactly why you should pay to play, to drive that content into their feeds so that it's seen and you're building affinity and trust, trust over time. All right. Second prong of our multi-channel magic plan is email campaigns on a weekly basis, maybe even more than once a week. We're not talking about one-to-one emails. I'm talking about one-to-many mass emails using a provider like MailChimp or Constant Contact or Drip or OmniSend or BombBomb or ActiveCampaign. There are numerous email service providers out there that you could use, but I am talking about mass email right now. We'll talk about it through the lens of two different sides, bulk campaigns and calibrated calls to action. I'll explain those in just a moment here. All right. This is Matt Curtis. He sends out a weekly roundup. Guess what it rounds up? All the content he published throughout the week. So check it out for a second. It's a beautiful looking campaign. It's sent through ActiveCampaign. He sends it every Friday. It's called the Weekly Real Estate Roundup. He sends it to a list of over 50,000 leads he's generated over his career. And guess what? He has over 50,000 people in this list. And this email, it resuscitates 24 to 26 direct replies once a quarter of listing appointments. It means there are people who were already leads once before over his career who they might want to sell again, or maybe they didn't sell before and now they're going to come back to life, so to speak. This guy generates 24 to 26 listing appointments per quarter off of this email campaign. Now, yes, he's got a large list. Many of you probably also have a large list of leads that you could throw into an email campaign like this and use it to resuscitate and bring to life the opportunities, because you don't quite know when somebody's truly ready. It's kind of like you're born, you live, you die, the epitaph. There's that epitaph between when the lead is gotten and when the lead is transacted. And you've got to be everywhere all the time, positioning yourself to be known, liked, and trusted. All right, so he's got a video. Hey, look, he's just repurposing content. This is a video he already published on YouTube. Marketing without content is a bow without arrows. Let me get myself off the screen so you can see this better. So he's repurposing that. The second shelf is a rotating offer. They're generally seller-focused offers. So he's doing a home valuation here. Sometimes he offers a home seller seminar. His offerings vary about once a month, so he'll keep that fresh. If you scroll on down, he features a few listings. You get what your content attracts. When he goes to a listing appointment, this is a major talking point with sellers who are like, wow, I want to get that exposure. You're so good at marketing, Matt. And he wins listings. Here's another video. Here's a sneak peek to go view additional listings coming up. He is being compliant with clear cooperation in his local marketplace. Sometimes this may be for open houses coming up. And the last section is a local happening. And everything you click on here, every link goes to his website. He is always driving you to his website in all cases. This email crushes it for him. People take the offer up, they reply to the email, and he gets a lot of opportunities from it. Now, pause for a second and riddle me this. When do people discuss real estate plans and decisions? When do people discuss real estate plans and decisions? And I would argue if you're the average American household and you're working Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you're running kids around to practices and you're busy, most discussions that are future facing, like, hey, should we sell our house? What's the next step in getting our home sold? Most of those conversations happen over the weekend, which is exactly why Matt sends out a Monday email as well. And every Monday, it's a straight up call to action. He cashes in on all the likely conversations that happened over the course of a weekend. Should we replace the windows or should we just sell? Well, the neighbors just listed. Maybe we should get it. Maybe we should get after it. All those conversations that are likely concentrated over the weekend, he cashes in with a straight up call to action on Mondays that looks like this. Hi, Jason, could you finish this sentence for me? If I could sell my house for blank, I would list my home this spring or this summer. I can't wait to hear your answer. He's working the list, not the leads, the list, to try to get a larger response. And these emails crush it for him. He does it not this exact message. He varies the message, but every Monday, it's a straight up call to action. Here's another example. Let me get me out of the way for a second. Hi, Name. I was thinking about you today. I bet you're a lot like me and you've heard all the negative news about your home's value. Would you like to know how much equity you're sitting on and what your home is really worth, let me know. And I know you're thinking like, well, wait, didn't these people already do a home valuation when I got the lead through sold.com? Yeah, values change. The news changes perception of values. Try again. It worked the first time. Why can't you use it again to keep trying to engage that lead and spark conversations? Because conversations feed appointments. Appointments feed sales. All right. There's a lot more we could talk about with email marketing. That Marketing Pro series of courses I mentioned a moment ago, there is also an email marketing course. And in that course, you can get the same discount. It's the same code, the same QR code, the same code here. And it's about 3 hours of pre-recorded step-by-step content about mass email marketing. It's not drip campaigns. It's mass email marketing is the focus of Inbox Hero. All right, last section, and we're going to be done in about 5 minutes. This one's super quick. And that is everywhere ads on a monthly basis. We'll talk about YouTube ads and banner ads. I know I'm moving quick. This is getting recorded and you can watch it again. And we'll probably do additional sessions where we maybe deep dive into each of these 3 layers to go super nitty gritty and give you all the steps to getting this actually implemented in your business at a super high efficient level. All right, let's jump into it. Talking first about YouTube commercials. Now, these are the commercials that play before, during, and after the video you're trying to watch on YouTube. And then after 5 seconds, you have the option to skip the ad. We're going to watch a bit of a video. This is an older video from one of our coaching clients. And I want you to ask yourself when watching this, would you skip this ad or not? Here's the video. Ready, get set, go.
Hi, my name is David Caldwell, and I'm a principal real estate broker at Hillshire Realty Group. Today, we're bringing you a quick housing report for the Tigard area and the zip codes 97223 and 97224 for November of 2020. A total of 78 new listings came to the market, a decrease of 48.
I'm guessing a bunch of you are like, I would have skip, get that thing out of my way. And I joke with David, I was talking to him yesterday about his videos are boring. They're boring, but you'll be shocked by how well they perform for him. Watch. This is a screenshot of the stats of that video. Now, he's been doing this strategy, as have many of our other coaching clients, for a few years now. He started this in 2020, in fact, and it's 1 monthly market report per month. So he creates a monthly market report, and then he runs ads on it for 30 days, and then he repeats the process every single month. It's like sending out a monthly postcard, only it's a market report video on YouTube. Now, check out these stats for a little bit here. Tigard Housing Report. It got 4,076 views. 98.1% came from the ad. The average view time was 1:27 out of 1:50. That means that 80% watched it all the way through. Like, that's 80% watch completion. Most of you thought I would skip that every time, but most of the people he targeted didn't. He must have targeted the right people. That's exactly what he did. If you look down here, it says that he targeted homeowners and Tigard. Homeowners and Tigard. Now, this extends beyond your leads, potentially. It's all homeowners in Tigard. Tigard is a city of like 65,000 people. And so within YouTube, which is Google, you have some very specific targeting options that are quite useful for a real estate professional. His cost per view, CPV, was 4 cents. This has gone down to 1 or 2 cents as a lot of marketers have reduced their budgets over the last year because of economic stuff. The cost is actually cheaper because it's less crowded there right now. He puts $5 a day behind each video, so $150 a month. And these generate what sound like come list me calls, but much of the time, they are in fact leads already in his CRM that are seeing him through a variety of channels. And this was the straw that broke the camel's back. This was what got them to take action. If you want to learn how to run these, click here, no paywall, go straight to a step-by-step step-by-step video that will walk you through exactly how to run YouTube in-stream ads using monthly market updates. Okay, one more, and then we're going to be wrapping up here. Display network ads. These are banner ads. I'm willing to bet you've been surfing the internet and you're on random websites like thesaurus.com or something random like that. And you see these banner ads, and they might be square-shaped. They might be wide and skinny. Sometimes they're tall and skinny. Sometimes they're in the footer of a Candy Crush app or some game on your phone or something like that. But you see these ads everywhere. These are called Google Display Network ads. These ads are placed here by Google. If you want to learn how to run them, just click here. There's a video that will, when you get my slides, I'll give you the link to download the slides, and you can click it and it will walk you through step by step how to set these up, whereby you can target homeowners in your town. You can even upload your list of leads and contacts and retarget them. I'll bet you've been on Amazon and you put a vacuum cleaner in your cart on Amazon and then you didn't buy it. And then Amazon was like, come back. And they kept showing you banner ads all over the internet. It didn't matter what website you were on because the ads found you wherever you were. Well, that's because those websites are all part of the Google Display Network, a network of about 3 million websites and apps. Wherever you are, Google can find you. And wherever your leads are, Google can find them. Now, these ads on their own are invisible. Our brains are trained to ignore these ads unless we see something we've seen before. So if they get your emails, if they see you on Facebook and Instagram, then you are already a part of their focus. There's a part of their brain called the reticular activating system. And in short, the job of this system is to help you become more aware of things that are already with your focus. So for example, if I said I'm going to go buy a Tesla this afternoon, as soon as I started driving around, my brain's going to point out to me every Tesla it sees on the road, not because there's more, but because it's part of my focus. And so if your marketing already has people within your range of focus, then these become kind of connective tissue whereby it's, oh, there they are again, there they are again, there they are again. And they are abysmally cheap. You can get about 500 impressions for the cost of a stamp, at least 500 impressions. One impression, get one person to see it, is about 0.003 cents. They are abysmally cheap. They don't work very well on their own, but if they work, if you put them as a layer to your multi-channel marketing magic, you're that agent. I see you everywhere. That's the magic phrase. That means you are on their radar. They are aware of you, and they are now considering what it would be like to work through you to ultimately sell their property. My vision for your lead nurturing looks like this. Your brand under the dome. Take your town, take your area, take your geographic farm, your zip code, wherever you're doing business, and park your dome over top of it and saturate these folks. Remember, most leads aren't going to convert right away, no matter where you get them from. Most leads are going to take time to convert, but it is through the time that you have the opportunity to go from friend zone to end zone and win them over. The challenge for a lot of agents is that can sound grueling. And it's exactly why today we talked about one nurture plan to promote everything you're doing, to build your brand and establish you as the authority, remembering that what you ultimately sell is you. The trick is, it's not about selling their home. It's about recognizing they need you to sell the home. And that's the job of your nurturing, is to take them and say, oh, wow, I thought it was about what the market was doing, and I thought it was about this, but really it's about that agent, and I need them to get this job done. And because they sense from you that you are committed to doing the job for them at the highest level, they like you for it. So here's the question. Are you committed to the long game? Are you playing the long game? Some leads take longer than others. Some leads are quick and fast. It depends. But there's an old saying that a system does what a system does. Nothing more, nothing less. So what's your system for marketing and nurturing leads? It's going to do what it's going to do. The question is, have you built the marketing machine that can create an absolute assembly line of future sellers coming your way? That's what I want you thinking about today. If we're not connected on social media, I would love to connect. Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. I want to be a resource for you. And here's a link to get the slides. If you'll head to jasonpantana.com/sold, you're able to download my slides right now. jasonpantana.com/sold. jasonpantana.com/sold. Deanna, are you there?
I am here. Yeah. And I just pasted that link in the comments or in the chat as well, so people can quickly access that. But incredible information, Jason. I, for those people in attendance that have operated with me, know that I operate pretty transparently and try to never overpromise and underdeliver. And I think that I did not do that with this webinar, because you definitely gave a ton of information that, again, not only can people use for sold.com purposes, but just generally for helping their business. Because again, everybody on this, whether they've been with sold.com for years or newly with us, We've all spent money somewhere. And so
Yeah.
you have tons of leads that you guys can be working, whether they're newly coming in or they're just generally in your CRMs, kind of waiting to be worked the right way.
Well, what would happen if they do have those leads that have been, there for a while and they've abandoned them? I talked about Matt Curtis. He has resuscitated so many sellers through his mass email. I mean, if you just picked one of those channels, I understand the multi-channel marketing magic, but just build the email, work the list. Those leads will convert over time. We get so focused on going after one at a time, and that isn't really the way to create an attraction-based business.
Yeah, 100%. And I had a quick slide to share just because with us, you talked about how 73% of people are not going to be ready when you initially speak to them. And that really is, if any of the agents on the call have joined my refresher and Q&A session that I host once a month, I've talked a lot about this, which is what we see is that 78% of these people inevitably wind up listing their property from the appointments that we set up with the consumers coming to our site and that we're connecting with agents. The two most common type of ads that we're running are get a free home valuation and get a cash offer. We are pretty upfront with the fact of they're not going to be ready. And this slide shows they aren't, right? But they will inevitably do something. The quality is there. So we are, and that's kind of the nice thing about being a success-based marketing lead generation company is we have a different vested interest in how we work. Because even if it's for selfish reasons, we have to see you be successful for us to be a successful operational business. So I thank you for all the information you shared. One thing that we wanted to provide to everybody on the call is just an extra, thank you for investing their time in us, is we have a promotion. So for those people who have been in our network, and I'm going to stop sharing my screen, have been in our network and you can be in our network and see all these great best practices, but if you don't have the referrals coming in or you don't have the volume that you want to have coming in to implement these different strategies, then you need to look into some different ways that you can hypercharge the amount of referrals you're receiving from sold.com. And so with that, I've posted in the webinar Jam Experience, there's a little button that pops up over the offers section. We offer something that agents can sponsor zip codes. And so how our program works is it is completely free to be in the network and be eligible for referrals. Most of you guys have heard me say this over and over as we've onboarded you, which is operationally how we work is consumer comes to our site, concierge calls them, completes the discovery call, and then sets up a super high value driven appointment for you to meet with them and complete that consultation. As Jason said, as we try to reiterate, they're likely not going to be ready right when you talk to them. Some of them are. Don't have that be your expectation. Have it feel like you just won the jackpot and got lucky. So some of them will be, but most of them will require some nurturing, which is where you can implement Jason's strategies and then a lot of the coaching that we talk about. But how we then hand out that referral is based off of what your rank is in our system. And so what sponsoring zip codes will allow for you to do is it will move you to the top of the rank so that when we get that appointment, you're the first person that we're going to when we have those clients. So what we're offering is our zip codes can range up to $250 a zip code per month. Even comparably, my background is Zillow, even comparably to other lead generation sources, that is probably the cheapest way to ever buy or sponsor zip codes at this day and age.
Yeah.
But with the promo as kind of the Jason kind of promo that we're adding in, we're actually giving you access to the $50 zip codes that you guys have seen at your original onboards, which is up to a 70% savings. So the promo does expire by Monday, end of day. We normally give about 24 hours for people to access those promos. I've included it in the offer section, but I've also included it in the chat in a top bar as well as in the actual comments. But this is a great way, again, these are great tools and strategies, but at the end of the day, you need something to be able to use and implement with the strategies, which is referrals, leads, or something to actually kind of make those gameplays go or have that strategy actually implemented.
Really.
So really great things that you guys talked about. I know Jason has a lot of, he's shared his different YouTube pages. He shared all of his different resources of videos.
Can I plug a note there really quick that I saw in the comments too?
Yeah.
Some of you were trying to click the things I said to click during the presentation. You can only click them after you download the PDF. So go to that link that I gave at the end. You can download it and then you can click the resources.
Perfect. Yep. And I actually had it on my notations to kind of bring up too, is just to make sure that everybody could access that, because that was a big question. And what I was going to reference too is we have videos as well on our YouTube page. If you guys aren't taking advantage of them, definitely do. Because Jason talked about a lot of great things at the very beginning of the webinar, where he mentioned know what type of lead and ad the consumer is clicking on before you call them, so you can take the right plan of action with them, connect the dots appropriately. We have tons of YouTube videos on our page, and I will already say in advance, you're going to get really sick of hearing my voice because most of them are me talking, but it is talking a lot about what type of leads that we're generating, what our best practices are, so that you guys can make sure that when you go into their home, it's not misaligned from the expectation that we're setting up. If it's a home valuation client, learning about what is the services that they're looking for, set up your plan and approach, and then now implement all of Jason's lead nurturing strategies to make sure that at the end of the day, that you are the go-to person that they have in the back of their head when they're ready. And that is all really at the end of the day that you're trying to do. If you're ever meeting with a lead and already deciding after you walked out of their house that they're not going to be looking to do something, you're probably prejudging them a little bit too quickly. Because part of like this sales approach, and part of like what your job also is a little bit of like that psychology of not buying the fact that they just told you the reason they requested that home valuation was just because they were curious. It's the wall that they have up.
I would also add in, if your strategy on lead conversion is being in the right place at the right time and hoping that it's a luck of the draw that they're ready when you're there, that's kind of an indictment on your marketing.
Yeah.
Because ultimately you should want to have such a strong marketing mix that they're going to be busting down your door to want to work with you because you've demonstrated the value. But just throwing that in there.
No, it's 100% true. You just have to make sure. And again, we talk about this a lot when we onboard each agent, is people buy from people they like and they trust. Doesn't matter what product that you're selling. So we all want, because we're success-based, we all want to make money. We all want these people to transact, right? But sometimes you have to dance around a little bit to actually get to your goal. And sometimes I make a lot of dating analogies. Sometimes it takes a little bit of a long game, right? To get that person to either go out with you the first time or the second time. And so you have to just make sure that you're persistent in that, no matter what you're looking to do. Not scary stalker style, but that you're at least around when they're ready.
Exactly.
But Jason, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for the content. If you guys need anything, follow Jason on all of his social media platforms. As he mentioned, we are looking to have build out a series where he can go a lot deeper into all these different strategies that he's talked about, and then continue investing in your overall success with our program. If those $50 webinar zip codes are something you're interested in, click on that form. You will receive a phone call from our agent success team. They will walk you through availability. They will walk you through what's available. And again, that $50 promo for zip codes does end on Monday, end of day. Jason, anything before we sign off?
Yeah, there's a couple of things in the comment. I just double checked it. The YouTube video link and the link to the Google Display Network ads aren't working. If you just do a Google search for Jason Pantana, Google Display Network ads, it's the first link. If you do a search for Jason Pantana YouTube ads, it's the first link, and you can get there that way. Sorry, those two links weren't working. My bad.
No, you're good. Awesome. Well, Jason, thank you again for your time today. We look forward to hosting you again and helping our agents grow within our network.
Thank you so much for having me. Go sell houses, everybody. Bye.
Bye.